Good night, World Time in America. This is my final video. I'm gonna make this video, and after this, I'm gonna watch show with you guys. And after this, I'm gonna go to bed because I have work tomorrow. At 8. I want to get good to go. I'll save a good like 4 smokes for tomorrow. I have 7 left. I'll save 4 smokes for tomorrow. I'll bum like 2 smokes off guys at work tomorrow, right? I'll ask for like 1 smoke. I work tomorrow. I have enough for a pack of smokes tomorrow. But I don't want to buy it before work. I'm going to wait until I finish my shift. Then I'll buy my pack of smokes. That way I have a pack of smokes for tomorrow, right? I'll get either a 25 or a 20 pack after work tomorrow. Obviously. Ivan, you're a bit harsh on the CFL. Yes, I know. I know I'm a bit harsh on the CFL. Yeah, I mean, you went all out on the CFL. Yeah, I did. But like this, I don't mean to be rude. The CFL does deserve to be exposed because they've been doing this for 70 years. They have a 7-year history of doing this. Just bringing up all these American guys and having them be the stars and legends up here, obviously. And all you American players playing in the CFL, you know what I'm saying? I know you guys, yeah, Ivan, you're a fucking dick, man. I know I'm a dick and I'm an asshole. I know, call me an asshole, call me a dick. I'm wearing a mask, you know what I'm saying? Because I took it out on the league, obviously. But I'm sorry, guys, I couldn't help it. I've been putting up with this bias for like 25 plus years. I've been watching the CFL since the early 90s, right? Sorry, the late 90s. I think the first time I saw the CFL was like 1997 or 1998 or something like that. Yeah, when I was a kid. And I remember watching the CFL in the early 2000s and all that stuff. And I watched quite a bit of the games. And I didn't know about the American bias, but I knew all the star players were American players. I'm not stupid. It was very weird to me, like, yeah, it's the Canadian Football League, but all the star players are all these American guys. But I didn't know why back then. But like as I got older and I matured, I studied the league, how it worked and everything, and the Canadian players get drafted and everything. Obviously, and that's when I knew about the bias. Obviously, you got this bias in the league with American players, obviously. I know all you American CFL players. I know I'm a dick. Yeah, Ivan, like you're exposing the league that we work in. Like we have families. I get that, guys. I understand that. I'm being a bit harsh. I'm an asshole. I'm a dick. But you American players don't have to worry. The CFL's never going to get rid of you guys, man. They're not going to get rid of the American talent. The CFL. They're blinded by it, right? They don't think the Canadians are good enough. So you guys don't have to worry about losing your jobs, right? Do you respect the CFL legends up here? Oh, yes, I do. I really do respect all the American guys who come up here. I do respect what they did up here, obviously. But it's tough for me to resonate them because I know they never would have been here had they been drafted in the NFL. Had they been in the NFL, they never would have been legends up here. And I know the legends in the league they never want to play in. That's why it's tough for me to take the league seriously, and it's tough for me to resonate with these guys, right? Obviously. It's tough for me to resonate with these American guys. Yeah. Yeah. All you Americans, yeah, I mean, that's very weird. Like, to have the majority of your legends in your pro league are players from a different country who are undrafted NFL players in America who never dreamed of playing in the CFL. They're legends in Canada, most of those guys. guys who are not from Canada and who never, whose dream was not playing in the CFL. CFL is an afterthought. The CFL is an afterthought to all the American football players. Yeah, if I don't make the NFL, maybe I can have a shot playing in the CFL. The dream's not playing in the CFL, the American guys, right? They're only there by default, right? I don't like that. So, yeah. They're only here by default, obviously. Yeah. Ivan, are the Canadian players worth more to the league than the American guys? Of course they are. They have higher marketability, obviously. The star Canadian players in the CFL are worth more to the league than the American players that bring up here, because the star Canadian players playing in the CFL are rare Canadian talent. They're the greatest players up here, man. The American guys CFL brings up here but are a dime a dozen. If they lose a player, they can just grab more guys from the States. Obviously. Like the American players are expendable, right? They're expendable players. They lose a star player in the NFL, they'll just grab other talented players from the States. Obviously. Whereas the Canadian players are draft picks, they're more known talent, they have higher marketability, they're Canadian, and they actually are the greatest players up here. They're the greatest players, just like the American players playing in the NFL are the greatest American football players in America. They're the greatest of the great. Well, you have some of that for Canada. The Canadian players playing in the CFL are actually the greatest players up here. Whereas the American guys the CFL brings up are who are stars who become legends. Even though the legends up here, they're not the greatest players who ever played the game from America, right? They're the leftovers, obviously, and their dream was not playing it. That's why it's very tough for me to take the league seriously, and I can't resonate with these American guys. I can't take the league seriously, right? Yeah, it's weird, man. It's for me, it's weird, obviously, for me personally, right? I don't like him saying, yeah. Yeah. So the CFL is for the best Canadian players. Obviously, that's why the CFL scouts the players, best players in Canada. They study film on them and they draft them in the league, and they even market them in the draft. They interview the players. They have this they do this video, and the players talk about playing university and they're excited to play pro football in the CFL. They market the best Canadian players, like the CFL Canadian Draft. And they interview the players, and they even do a thing where they in the CFL where they film the players, the GMs and and all the coaches. They interview the players, like at the combine. They interview the players and everything. Like, yeah, this is my dream. I want to play pro football. Like, all the Canadian players in the videos tell the GMs that their dreams playing in the CFL. Like this is actually their dream, man. Their dreams playing in the CFL. Whereas the American guys, they don't say that. They just say, I didn't get my NFL shot, but I got an opportunity to play football here. Because the American guys, this is not their league. Their dream's not playing here, man. Their dream's playing in the NFL. The Canadian guys, their dream's playing here. It's not playing the NFL. Yes, someone will take an NFL shot at for the heck of it, but they don't really care because the NFL's not for the Canadians, man. The Canadians don't care about the NFL. This is their league. CFL's for the Canadians, obviously, right? They don't care about the NFL, the Canadian players. Because it's not their league. The NFL's for the best American players, right? Football players, right? Like, duh. Yeah. work tomorrow. Hope you guys join my video with I. Your Zero Wizards are sick, man. Holy shit, man. That's serious shit. Yeah, serious shit, man. Serious shit going on in Canada, man. It's like a betrayal to your country, man. Yeah, man. It's serious shit. Only football pro league in the world that does this, obviously. It's pretty weird. Most of the star players in the league are not draft picks. They're just guys from a different country who are the stars up here. It's very weird. We're undrafted players in the NFL, right? In most cases, right? Yeah. Undrafted players who didn't get drafted in the NFL, those are the guys that are stars up here. And who become legends up here. Obviously, instead of the best Canadian players who are drafted into the league. It's very weird. Most of the legends are guys from a different country in a Canadian football league in Canada, obviously. Obviously. All you American players playing CFL, I know you guys say, yeah, Ivan, you're a fucking dick, man. I know. I'm an asshole. Call me an asshole. Call me a dick. Yeah? Yeah, I'll get it in a sec. Yeah. Obviously. But the CFL does deserve to be exposed. They've been doing this, guys, for 70 years, guys. Since the 50s. Even when Russ Jackson played, they were doing this. They draft the best players, and barely any of them are stars. They just bring up all these American guys from the States on how to be stars. No pro league does that, man. It's very weird. Obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know why the CFL does this? Yes, they want to put on higher quality football almost as good as the NFL. That's why they just bring up all these guys from the States, obviously, because they want to. Yeah, we want to get it. We want to get our games closer to the NFL. That's why we do this. I get that CFL, it's high quality football, but these American guys you bring up here, when you market them to the Canadian people, they don't know anything about these guys, man. Like, they're just guys you just bring up here from a different country who are talented players, but like no one knows anything about these guys, man. And you market them and you hope to have like substantial growth, like $500, $600 million. But I mean, obviously, I'm shocked the CFL's not pulling in $500, $600 because these American guys CFL brings up with you. Yeah, I'm coming. They put on a show. You would think the league would do like $500 million in revenue, obviously. And yet no one in Canada cares that much, obviously. And I know why. It's because they don't know anything about these American players who you market to them. That's why no one really cares about your games. Or they just don't care about Canadian football, obviously. Yeah. That's why the CFL does documentaries about some of the star players, because they have to give you information about them. Because the fans of Canada don't know anything about these guys, right? That's why they do documentaries about the player. They give you a little bit of history. This player played at this high school, and this player played at Ohio State University in the NCAA. He went on, and they say how they went on draft in the NFL draft. And they always say, yeah, my dream was playing in the NFL. I didn't get my NFL shot, but I got an opportunity to play football up here. Obviously. That's what all the American guys say, because their dream's not playing here. The CFL, we don't care. Because they're just blinded by the talent. We don't care. Like, we don't care if they never want to be here. Their dream's not playing here. They're very talented. We gotta mark these guys having these stars up here. It's a very weird way of going to the league. And some of those players, CFL, you market with your documentaries and everything, they leave to the NFL. Like, you never hear from them again. So it's like, you're expecting the fans to be invested in these American guys, CFL, when their dream is not playing here, and some of them use your league as a farm to get an NFL shot, and you're pissed off that the fans are not invested in these players, because you can't be invested in these American players. You can't resonate with these guys. Their dream's not playing here, and some of them are using your league as a farm to get an NFL shot. obviously, and you expect your league to grow. But I mean, you market these people to Canadian people, and you hope your league grows. But people in Canada obviously don't really resonate with these American guys. They don't really care about these American guys that much. Oh, hey, guys, I'm saying, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. So see, yeah, the CFL obviously relies blindly on just the talent of the Americans to just grow the league. Regardless if they're unknown to Canadian people, they rely on the brand that they're selling on TV to grow the league because the brand that they're selling is amazing product, obviously on the field, and hopefully, and because it's high entertainment value of the CFL, hopefully the league can grow and more people can be invested in 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 the league. But CFL is not just about the talent; it's about the what. Obviously, people have to know about the talent that you're selling. If they don't know anything about the talent that you're selling, how do you expect to grow your league, CFL? They're very talented players, but no one knows anything about these guys when you market them on television. Like when the CFL markets all these American heroes on television, obviously, like yeah, I know I know their names and everything, but I don't know anything about these guys. I don't even know these guys even came from. They're just guys who just came up here from another country, for amazing players who happen to be the stars, but I don't know anything about these guys. I don't know anything about them, and they're putting on a show on television, but like I don't really resonate with these guys, right? Yeah, and I know their dream was not playing here. That's the problem with the American players for me personally. When I see all these American guys put on a show on television, it's like yeah, like they're stars and everything, but like their dream they're only here by default. Their dream's not playing here, man. They're only here by default, right? That's why they're here. Otherwise, they never would have been here if they were in the NFL. Yeah. All the American players say, well, yeah, I think you're right. Even though we're CFL stars and we love it up here and the fans love us, this was not our dream. Yeah, this was not your dream, guys, right? Your dream's playing, yeah, your dream's playing the NFL. It's not playing here. Yeah. Give me a second, I was going to get some tea. Back in a sec. Who guys the show? Right, guys, back. Yeah. You think some Canadian players in the CFL are like, yeah, Ivan, you're a bit too harsh on the CFL, Ivan. Some of the Canadian players. But I guarantee you all the Canadian players are on my side. Yeah, Ivan, like, you're right. We can't speak up, but, like, you're the voice, man. Like, yeah, the CFL, I know I'm harsh, guys. I know I'm an asshole. But, like, you guys have been doing this for 70 years of CFL history, man. So you're obviously blinded by the American talent. The fact that you do this and you close the doors on all these Canadian draft, you don't care about your own Canadian draft picks. You only care about these American guys. We're not even your draft picks from a different country who didn't get drafted in the NFL to shine up here in the Canadian Football League over your own best Canadian talent who were drafted in your league. Obviously, if you want to grow a pro league's CFL, it's common sense you grow the pro league with your draft picks, not players from a different country who didn't get drafted in it from a different country. They may be talented, but they're not your draft picks CFL. The American football players you bring up here are not your draft picks. They're just players who you bring up here from a different country, right? Who didn't get that opportunity. They're not your draft picks. Yeah, they're not draft picks, but they're a bit more talented than our draft picks. Yes, they're a bit more talented than draft picks CFL, but I mean, I'm going to keep saying this, man. If you want these guys to be the stars of your league, you have to market them to Canadian people. I'm going to be saying that, right? Don't even say, yeah. 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 Alright, is the CFL draft aired on TV? Yes, it is. It's aired on TSN. TSN airs it. Yeah. Nationwide, right? All over Canada, obviously. So quite a bit of people in Canada know these picks got drafted. And the people who didn't watch the draft, some of the fans tune into the CFL website, the team website, and you get the news on the CFL of all the players who got drafted. And then when the players get drafted, they post the information at each of, I don't know, the 27 universities in Canada. So all, 50 plus thousand students in each of the universities know that these kids got drafted. Obviously, in the 27 schools. And I guarantee you barely any of them are tuning into your games, CFL, right? Especially the football fans, I guarantee they don't watch your games. Because they know these guys are not stars. It's all your American guys, right? Why does the CFL have the university posted? To market the players, obviously. To market the draft picks, and they're pissed off that these fans don't really care because, yeah, your draft is a crapshoot. Barely any of your draft picks are stars. They're all bust picks, right? Yeah. All because of your American bias, obviously. I'm sorry, man. They're not. We have to close those things, guys. They're not talented enough. Obviously. But we'll draft them and they get to play pro football, but they're not going to be stars either. They're not talented enough. The American guys got to shine out here. Yeah, American guys were not even your draft picks. Yeah. You didn't draft these guys, CFL. Yeah. Do the American players look down on the Canadian players in the CFL? Of course they do. Yeah. Yeah, we're undrafted guys from the NFL, and we're like all the stars up here in Canada, and we're shining up here, and all these Canadian draft picks are all sitting on the bench, and we're the stars up here in their league. Yeah, so stop in their face off. Well, the Stars are here because we're a bit better than these Canadian guys. Yeah, but the Canadian guys also look down on the American guys because they know the American guys are NFL rejects. They're not the best players in America. So the Canadian guys also look down on the American guys too. It's actually funny. They both look down on each other. My younger sister probably told me about that. Yeah. They look down on each other, right? Oh, that's funny, I know. That's funny. They both look down at each other. Yeah. So why do the American players look down on the Canadian players in CFL? Because they know they're a little bit more talented than them. And they're the stars up here in Canada, in the Canadian Football Players League, in the Canadians League. But the Canadian players look down on the American players too because they know they're not the best talent in the States. They're the NFL rejects, obviously. But at least the Canadian players can say they're the greatest players in Canada. The American players can't say that, right? They're Americans in the States. They're not the greatest players in the States, the American guys who come up here. Was the Canadian players who played in the CFL are actually the greatest players who ever played the game in Canada up here. They're Canadian and they're the greatest players up here. The American guys are not the greatest players in the States. They're all the rejects, right? You didn't get that opportunity. We're not good enough in the NFL. That's why the Canadian players also look down on the American guys. Like, duh. I mean, that's funny, I know. Yeah. So you heard Sarah Birds, oh yeah, he told me that. He said something like that, right? Yeah, the American guys may be better than us, but like this is our league and we're the best players in Canada. Yeah, that's what he said. Oh. This league is for us, Canadian players, and we're the greatest players up here. The American guys may be better than us, but they're not the greatest players coming from the States. They're all the leftover guys. And this is not their league. Their league is the NFL, but they're only here because they didn't get enough opportunity. I mean, that's funny, I know. Yeah. Obviously, the American guys who play here look down on the Canadian players because barely any Canadian players who get drafted up here are stars. We're all the stars up here. The CFL is giving us the spotlight, not the Canadian guys. So the American guys are a bit cocky about that, right? Oh, a little bit, obviously, right? A little bit, right? Yeah. I'll talk for 4 minutes because that's good enough, right? Well, I should do you guys after that. I think I'm gonna go to bed, sleep. I work at what? I work at 8 tomorrow. I have to set my alarm for 7:30. Wake up tomorrow, go to work. Arrive at like 2:30. Finish at 2:30. Get my pack of smokes and yeah. All you American CFL players, I know I'm a dick, I'm an asshole. I think I might have been a bit too harsh, obviously, on you guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get that, but this has been going on for 70 years, guys. Let me ask all you American football fans. I'm gonna keep saying this. If the NFL drafted the best American players, let's say the Japanese were better football players than the American players, right? And the NFL was envious of the Japanese talent. God forbid, right? The NFL drafted the best American players in America, obviously, but they closed the doors on them and they chose to bring in the best football players in the world, who are the Japanese. But they don't take the best Japanese players; they take the leftover Japanese players who are not the best players in Japan, and they they brought all those guys to America, and had the majority of those guys be the stars, and they market those guys to the American to you American people, and most of those guys, those Japanese players, are now the legends in your league over your own American drafts. Would you take the league seriously, guys? No, I wouldn't really care. Yeah, you wouldn't really care about the league, obviously. That's what the CFL's doing. You can, obviously. That's what they're doing. It's very weird. I don't know. Yeah! Yeah. So, guys, I have to use the bathroom. Yeah. Yeah, even if the NFL did that, I wouldn't care. Yeah, you would lose interest in the league, obviously, if all the doors were closed on your draft picks, and all these Japanese players who are not the best Japanese players from the league. Don't forget that they're the stars in your league, and most of those guys are legends in your league. Would you take the league seriously? No, I wouldn't. Yeah, and that's what the CFL's doing. That's why I can't resonate with these American guys. I can't really take the CFL league seriously, obviously, because you can't resonate with these American players. Oh, you guys were saying, yeah, you can't resonate with the league, obviously, with American players, obviously. Ivan, why do the Canadians love Russ Jackson more than Anthony Gavula and Matt Dunnigan and all these guys and Doug Flutie? Because Russ Jackson is Canadian. I mean, he's homegrown talent. They love him more. They have a choking after him. Yeah. And the Canadian fans are not stupid. Even though I think Gavula and Matt Dunnigan obviously are legends in the CFL, they know their dream was not playing here. So it's tough to resonate with those CFL legends, right? You can't resonate with those American guys. Yeah, we love them, Mike, but we know their dream was not playing. They're only here by default now. Because they can get their opportunity, right? That's why they're here. Obviously. Yeah. That's why the Canadian fans, even though they love the American football, they don't really care that much about them. But they're not stupid. They know their dream was not playing. They're only here. They were only here by default, right? That's why they're here, right? Whereas Russ Jackson is actually like a CFL draft pick in the 50s who killed up here. And don't forget, Russ Jackson is rare Canadian talent. He's the greatest. What? He was what? He was the greatest Canadian CFL Canadian quarterback ever played the game up here in Canada, obviously. Russ Jackson. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. That's why the fans respect the Canadian players more. Yeah, because they're Canadian. It's a pride thing, and they're homegrown talent. And the Canadian players, I'm not saying the Canadian players who play in the CFL are actually the greatest players who ever played the game over here. They're not like they're not rejects, right? Like they're not Canadian rejects. No, they're the greatest players who ever played the game up here. The American guys who brings up here, even though they're amazing players, they're not the greatest players in America, obviously. They're the leftover guys that the Sea brings up here. They're not the greatest players, American players in America. I don't think guys in saying, yeah. Obviously, so when those guys become legends, I respect what they did up here. I really do. But I know their dream wasn't playing here, and they're only here by default. They didn't get their NFL shot. It's tough to resonate those guys. And it's tough to take the league seriously. That's how I feel personally, man. I can't take the league that seriously, obviously. Yeah, and some of the legends when they have legendary careers, they use the CFL as a farm to get an NFL shot. Like Warren Moon and Doug Flutie are perfect examples. They killed the league up here, and when they got the NFL opportunity, they just leave. So like they have legendary careers, and the CFL's buzzing about them, about being legends up here and everything. This is a legendary quarterback. He passed for 4,000, 5,000 yards. You know what I'm saying? One of the greatest quarterbacks in the CFL history, you know what I'm saying? And like after that, like you don't hear from them and they lead to the NFL. Obviously. They just lead to the NFL, obviously. Like these are your legends, CFL. Who have legendary careers in your league. They left to another league. To play in another league, obviously. So it's tough to take the league seriously, obviously. There's no consistency with the American guys. They use the CFL as a farm to get an NFL shot. Even though they had legendary careers in the CFL, they use the CFL as a farm to get an NFL shot. It's tough to take the league seriously, and that's why. But the CFL is like, we don't care because they're blind. Again, we don't care even if they're using our league as a farm league. We gotta bring these guys up and have these stars, all right? Yeah, they're crazy people. They're blind by the American talent. That's funny. Yeah, we don't care, man. We don't care. They never want to be here. This was not the dream. They didn't get an NFL shot. When they become CFL stars over here, the fans love them. That's how we grow the league. I mean, yeah, very weird way of growing the league, man. Fucking weird way of growing the league, obviously, right? Yeah. Yeah. As I guarantee the board of governors are embarrassed. Yeah, I mean, you're embarrassing us in front of the world to see. Well, you deserve to be exposed. Because you've been doing this for like 7+ years, even since Russ Jackson played in the 50s, right? Been doing this, man. 70 years, CFL. You've been doing this, man. Since you officially started the league. Just been bringing out these American guys. How to be stars up here. Yeah. And closing all the doors and all the Canadian. The Canadian players, I'm sorry, Ivan, they're not talented enough. Yeah, you only league that downgrades your own talent, obviously. It's sad. Right, you think the Board of Governors and the CFL commissioner? Yeah, I guarantee when I start exposing the CFL, you guys are blowing up my wisdom, obviously. It's probably, yeah, Ivan, like, you're embarrassing us, Ivan. Yeah, I know. Guarantee the CFL commissioner and the Board of Governors are obviously embarrassed. Because I have the wisdom of God, I know how to blow your mind. Yeah, Ivan, man, you have the wisdom of God, you know how to blow our minds away. Like, you're embarrassing us, Ivan. Yeah, I'm embarrassing the league, obviously. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. The league deserves to be exposed. They've been doing this for 70 years. This is not right. Come on. I think the best way to make it work, have half Canadian, half American players start per team. That's the best way to make it fair. Or you give some American players an opportunity to vote. But the CFL, we can't do that. The Canadian players won't believe are talented enough to go against the American players. That's why the best solution is to get rid of the American talent. Or you don't have to worry about that problem. The CFL will never do that, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. But I could be wrong, guys. Maybe the Canadian talent doesn't make a difference. Maybe the league will leave a dip in quality and it flops, obviously, because the quality. Maybe the league will dip in revenue because the quality dipped a little bit. Yeah, I mean, like, the quality will dip. Less people are going to be interested in games, I mean. Yeah, you might be right, CFO. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the American talent is the way to go. I could be wrong. But you're going to have to find a way to really market these Americans on players, CFO, because obviously the fans in Canada are not resonating with the Americans on players. They don't really care about these guys that much. Or they don't care about Canadian football. That's my other answer. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope the league grows, guys. Even though I know the CFL thinks the American talent's the way to go, I hope the league can grow. Obviously, that way it can be in a healthier position, and these players can get bigger raises and make more money, obviously. Anyways, this is what I guys for the show. I remember saying, please hope you guys enjoy my deep insight wisdom of the CFL. My last video today, guys. I'm gonna upload this video and I'm gonna enjoy showing you guys. And after this, I'm gonna go to bed, guys. I'm tired. I have work tomorrow. Peace out, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Obviously, peace, guys.